we're back. Today we have my favourite session. We've got a lat bias pull session going down, which for me is super important. So today I will take you through that, go through some bits with you and give you some tips. So looking forward to taking that through with you guys. I've also got a Q&A that I want to go through. I put Q&A on my Instagram and I got some great questions that I wanted to cover, so we'll get that into today's episode as well. I'm going to hit a Q&A to start the video off, so I'd actually say some questions from the gram. So we've got Sam Bissett, all-time favourite lift. So my all-time favourite lift has to definitely be a squat or a very close second, bench. Definitely not a deadlift because I don't have the mechanics for it, terrible. But definitely a squat. You can't really beat it. The feeling with all the weight in the world in your back, almost snapping you in half, and you've got to get back up with it. So definitely a squat. I think it's definitely one of the most challenging movements as well. There's no way in a way there's no way you can cheat it. So definitely a squat, and that's from Sam Bissett. Question number 2, Dan Fitness 101. As a natty, is volume work pointless and it's heavyweight? Don't the thing to stimulate protein synthesis? Absolutely not. I think people have got a very poor misconception between assisted and natural. There is no difference apart from your recovery capability. It may be a little bit different if you are an assisted athlete, but I know a lot of naturals that arguably train a lot harder than many assisted guys, and they pay a lot more attention to the finer details as well, so their recovery is better in many cases as well. So as a general rule, there is some fantastic bodybuilders that do prefer higher volume, but in my opinion the best bodybuilders always do favour a lower volume approach with higher intensity. So don't differentiate for things between natural and assisted. It's the same approach. Really doesn't differ a lot. Well, it doesn't differ at all, to be honest. Top 3 health subs. This is a good one actually, especially for people that are on a budget. So for me, a good quality omega-3, vitamin D3 and K2 and magnesium. These are pretty much my top 3. I think many people add like a whey into it, but to be honest, if you was to pick 3 supplements, 3 health subs, these would be my top 3. If I had 4, probably add vitamin C to the equation as well. But again, if you do have a balanced diet, you will be covered from that perspective in many ways. Best supplements for digestion from Curtis 789. So Curtis 789, best supplement for digestion is chewing your food properly. If you've got digestive issues, there will be something causing digestive issues, so adding a digestive aid on top of that is like trying to put a plaster of a gash that's 5 centimetre wide with 1 centimetre wide plaster. It's not going to happen. So we need to find exactly what's causing the issues, and many of times it's something very simple and very easy to pinpoint as well across your day. So first, try and recognise what's causing the issue rather than just trying to supplement with things. Use it as a last port of action, to be honest, last call of action, so to speak.
Hold it. Good.
So I always like to start my back workouts with a bit of activation. So I normally do a couple of sets, 10 reps each lat, a couple of sets of 10 reps, upper back as well. With your lat, the movement always finishes here, parallel to your rib cage. The second you start to any retraction, your lat doesn't do the work, it's more rhomboids and the upper back. So know your bias, know what we're trying to work, whether it's lat or upper back. Today you're going to get a glimpse of what I do and how I do it. I'm not going into too much detail because the detail is safe for my clients, but I'll give you a good idea of how to actually target your lat effectively. Strong move. Switch this now.
What?
Sexy.
Well, I don't really like it anyway.
Do you want to do on the prime? Sing along what we do, but on the prime instead. So, this is the ultimate lat builder. Credits to Coach Cassin. If you want to check his stuff out, N1 training, N1 education. It's one of the movements that he has shown on his workout library, so got to give him credit. Credit where it's due. he's a smart man. So Cass, if you're watching this, see, I'm giving you credit. So I'll get Cass to put a little timestamp on for you. I'll send you a link. I've probably been the biggest, the strongest, and the heaviest she's ever been. So arguably, the way you can handle recovery when you are your biggest is going to be a lot different when you was a lot smaller. So when we first started this training setup, coming out of the shows, I was 40 pounds lighter than I am now. Meg, I think the same. How many pounds have you put on? Huh?
Kilo.
How many kilo? 15. Oh, so yeah, Meg, in fact I'm 40 pounds, she's 30 pounds. So for a lady, I think that's a lot. So she's getting very frustrated with feeling slightly down, but even when she's this heavy, like even her sleep's gonna get disrupted slightly because she's just not used to being so big and heavy. In a good way, she's still very ladylike, I like it. So it's just a case of managing things from here. Like tonight, because I'm the heaviest and biggest I've ever been, I need to be in a cold room to sleep, otherwise I'll sweat all night and I'll not be able to sleep. So tonight she's probably gonna have to sleep in the spare bedroom. See how she gets on. She don't like it, but needs must. But yeah, she looks good. Today she's gonna run low volume. Again, this is just running autopilot. Recognise that she's not fully recovered, so we just lower the volume for today's session. That way, she's still gonna get enough stimulus, very effective, still be very accurate with training, be able to really go in at that one given set. But if we try and go at full volume here, it's just gonna be counterproductive. So recognise when you need to back off and when you need to go, especially
The goal is to always stay on your lat. Don't think about range of motion, really, when you're doing a lat biased exercise. If you take it too far and you protract your shoulder too far, you lose your lat. You don't actually focus much on your lat. That's why I said Kuba's last rep didn't count. That's why we said the 9 rather than the 10, because he felt fatigue, so he let it go. He lost, obviously, the connection with his lat, which then made the last rep not count. So if you're going to train to failure, you need to make sure that you're training it and that last rep is with the same form as what you did with your first rep. So yeah, that's why he's got me as his coach. I'm just kidding, by the way. I love you, Jordan, and step up.
2 2 2 3 2 4 2 5 2 6 2 7 2 8 2 9 2
There we go. So the both movements that we're doing right now are both lat bias. So what you will see, there will be no retraction. The goal is to drive our elbow into our hip and our fist into the pocket in a row. On a pull down, it's simple. You drive your elbow down into the pocket of your hip. That's the best mental cue you can get. Do not retract your shoulder. You want to almost keep your shoulder neutral. Don't see any retraction. You finish pretty much here, so your elbow is parallel with your ribs.
Well, let's go. Again, come on. That's it. Go, come on. Come on, come on. Nice.
Good. Good. Easy, come on. Beautiful. Just on one set, yeah? Come on. Good. Yeah. Strong. So, this particular machine, if you ever want to use this machine when you come down here, don't ever try and train your lats with it. This is perfect for upper back. If you try and train your lats, you would have to basically get on your knee on the floor and pull it from here. This is not designed to train your lats. This is definitely a perfect upper back machine. Here, you can see prime example, I target the upper back. So slight thoracic extension, and again, you can see our elbow and our alignment is more with the upper back musculature. So we can see the insertion of our back here, and the origin is going to the middle. So this is the same path, elbow path that we take. So lean back, line the elbow path, and then drag through. Maximum retraction at the scapula once our elbows pretty much meet the torso. Don't try and retract at the beginning of the movement. It's just going to limit your range of motion. Definitely something to consider when you're trying to train that big back. I think I can talk about back training now when I've turned no back into half a back. If you don't believe me, check my Instagram out. Latest physique update. You don't get many of them updates, but when you do, almost something to show.
Don't do that at the end. 6, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. 7, 2, 3, 4, 5. 8, 2, 3, 4, 5. 9, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, come on. 10, 2, 3, 4, 5. 11, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drag it down. Come on.
Rear delt row.
When you swing, you lose there.
Attention.
You lose it, yeah.
Because I feel like I'm not. I feel like when I'm just doing that.
Yeah, but you
I'm
get it all.
Yeah. I need to get used to that then. Yeah. Because then I try and think all the way through, but when I do that, my biceps.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I don't know if you have bicep, but that would all go
For
on
when?
that one rep.
Yeah. Was that 11 reps, yeah?
Yeah.
I can't count. I don't know if you realise.
I might go, you know.
Yeah, no, I'll go first because you're just doing one set. So, rear delts. Now, everyone that always wants to do rear delts, one movement you need to consider is the one that we're going to do now. Yeah, I think it's far superior than doing a reverse pec deck. If you want to work your rear delt for its full contractile range and actually get it fully short, this does not cut the mustard. This, however, does. So now we're going to perform a rear delt row. So the key to this is pretty much the opposite of what I always say about the scapula. You almost want to lock your upper back in one place, because this movement can be done with a lot of precision or a lot of misunderstanding. So the rear delt is around so many different muscles. To totally isolate it, you have to restrict the movement of all the muscles around it. So your upper back has to stay locked in, and there we aim to lock it in, lock the upper back in, and really drive your elbow out and round in at the top. So we always aim for the elbow path to align with the rear delt. So now I spoke about it, just watch. Just a little touch. One little touch before we get after it. So, like I said, it's around 12-week mark on this training block. So we will be adjusting some movements. Some movements will stay, arguably yes, but I definitely think some movements time has come to rotate. SLDL and the rack pull definitely staying. I need to get good at those. And one thing that you have to consider with movements like this, a lot of it is skill acquisition. So the more times you do it, the better you get at it. Sometimes even when it does feel like you're done with the movement, you're instant, you make it harder, like I have done today. Previously, the last session, I did them touch and go. This session, I did dead stop, which is far more challenging. And if you are to learn to pull properly, I always favour dead stop. So any of you guys who want to really build a strong posterior chain, dead stop, always. Don't touch and go, it's just easy. Anything you do in training, try and make it harder rather than easier. There we go, mate, good. Come on. Good. One more. Good. Again. Strong. Well done. So she's spitting dummy out about recovery.
I'm not spitting my
One
dummy
thing
out.
you've got to consider.
Not.
Right.
I'm in a good mood.
One thing.
It's
I
just
know.
annoying.
But listen. I know it is. But one thing you consider when you're a human being that weighs 51 kilo on stage, and then you put 15 kilo on of body weight, and then you're lifting poundages almost double to what you was doing, triple when you first started, what do you think is going to happen? Your recovery is going to be totally different. So for you, even running the volume, like the baseline volume, is still going to be very, very, very challenging. Like on the banded rack pulls, you did 2.5 plates and a biscuit today. When we first started, you barely did a plate. When we first started this training block, so that just puts things into perspective. How much more volume you're accumulating through extra load and reps.
I knew that.
Because you're doing an extra plate and a half, and you're doing it for the same number of reps.
Yeah, but
So
my sleep's along with me.
I think your sleeps. Look, just try sleeping in the spare room tonight, and then just see how it goes.
Maybe it's the grizzly bear next to me.
Maybe
it's the grizzly bear.
Or maybe just a bit too heavy.
And do you know what?
Maybe just a bit too heavy.
You know what? Maybe that's why my arm's going dead.
But I think so.
Because I'm laying on the air. My weight's just making it.
Are you laying on your side when you sleep?
Yeah, but I've always laid on my side. I can't lay anywhere else.
What a fucking idiot. Right.
I can't lay anywhere else. I literally can't lay anywhere else.
Right,
if I lay on my
so
front,
she's been wondering why her arms go dead. They're gonna go dead if you sleep on your side.
Yeah, but I'm
You
always...
absolute idiot. Yeah, but you used
to
to be small, you used to be tiny. Oh my God. Why do you think I bought a pregnancy pillow and I've learnt to sleep on my back?
Yeah, but I can't. I've tried and I just
If you've got
can't.
sleep issues, guys, and your arms go dead, sleep on your back. They're not gonna go dead.
I can't lay on my front anymore either.
You're too big to lay on your front. Not in that way, she's still small. But you know what I mean. Oosh! Ice! Fine.
Oh, this is called the crucifix. The crucifix rope. Let's go, come on. I want
Perfect. Nice squeeze. Just touch it, then go ahead, yeah?
Should I go heavier than that? 1, 2.
1. So, biggest mistake people make during a prep / off season. Whoa, this is a good one because the list could be endless of the mistakes that people make, and many of them I've definitely made myself. So, in prep, I think many people can push a lot harder, especially right out of the gate. I definitely think my last prep I could have pushed a lot harder, and I think many people underestimate your recovery capabilities and how far they can actually push under the excuse of thinking they will lose muscle. You won't lose muscle if you are paying attention to the recovery side of things. Your nutrition's on point. It's going to be very hard for you to lose muscle if you are applying yourself properly in the gym as well. Off season, I definitely think I've made that one way too many times. Definitely getting too fat. I think that's definitely one of the biggest mistakes people do make. Don't get me wrong, you will accumulate a certain amount of body fat, but getting fat just for sake of chasing a scale weight is not the way. This off season, I'm not really pushing my body weight, it's just happening, and I think that's how it always should be done. Don't force anything whatsoever, don't force your strength, don't force your body weight. So I think in off season, I think forcing anything will have, if anything, a detrimental effect. So try and avoid pushing and try and avoid forcing things. It's going to happen. It's just a case of just managing everything to the best of your ability. This is a good one. Can you get bigger on a cut natural? So yes and no. It depends how advanced you are, for one, and I definitely believe even as a natural, the first half of the prep you will continue making progress, and I definitely believe you will continue growing, as I've seen it firsthand with already an advanced natural athlete. Do not try and expect the gains to be the same as they would in a surplus, but I definitely think you can make a good degree of progress, especially if your starting position isn't ideal and you're already quite unfit and struggling with the training side. Sometimes as you drop body weight, you get fitter, you get stronger, and you're able to perform better. So if you're performing better, naturally, you will create an adaptive response and grow, without a shadow of doubt. With being a young pro, from Mike Irwin 13, I'm not reading these names out, I'm not good at this, am I? Mike Irwin 13, with being a young pro, what motivates you to play the long game and be patient? So I think you've said it would, being young and knowing that I've probably got 12 to 13 years left of competing. all I've got to do is look at James's progress in the last 3 years. James didn't place in his first year as a pro at all, and look at him now from where he was. He's slowly climbed up the ladder, and it took him 3 years to actually win a first pro show. So I think it can be done with time and consistency. So the way I've got to look at it is I've got 13 years ahead of me doing this, so I'm just going to take my time and see what can be done over that period. So I'm realistic. I know I'm not going to win Mr. Olympia, but if I get to participate in the show once or twice, I think that's definitely mission accomplished. So from Nilesh_G, what's been the biggest change in training from rookie season to level up? So I think you said it, pal, level up. I think the biggest change has been leaving my ego at the door and just much better application, not trying to force my strength or just think of the numbers when I'm training. I'm definitely more mindful of how I'm moving the weight and following the true progressive overload principles, and that's to create tension rather than just thinking numbers. So definitely applying a lot of different techniques, tempo work, time and attention, and certain pauses. So it's definitely a lot different, and I definitely think I'm being a lot smarter with the way I approach things as well. So I think that's definitely key, just getting better at application as well, and just better with the execution part as well. I think that makes a huge difference. So tips for first time wellness competitor by Kayla Theo Oligis. I'm not sure if I've said it right. I think so. Tried anyway. So I think you've got to be honest with yourself. It's very much like when my clients ask me if they can do well in classic, and 9 times out of 10 they absolutely can't, because they're not a classic bodybuilder, they don't have a classic shape, and they just wouldn't fit the class. So if you want to be a wellness competitor, that's fine, but be honest with yourself. Do you have the structure? Do you have the genetics? Do you have any potential in that class? To sum it up in one, to be a good wellness competitor, if you don't have the hip structure, if you don't have the narrow clavicles and predisposition to grow a big lower half, I think you won't have a chance of doing well. You might like the idea of it, and that's great. You can work towards that, like nobody is putting you off the idea, but when it comes to being competitive, you will be going against girls that have literally, and I mean literally, been born for that class. So unless you're born for it, I don't think it's the right class for you. And that's me being totally transparent, because I don't think anyone should go for a prep to try and compete in a class that doesn't suit them and doesn't fit them, and it just would be a disaster for me. So that wraps it up, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. More Q&As to come. Pow pow.